How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 4 of The Foo Show. In today's episode, we have a very special guest. We have Coach L.A. Rasho. To those of you who don't know yet, Coach L.A. is one of the strength and conditioning coaches of the Phoenix Fuel Masters in the PBA. But we start off the episode by talking about his educational background, his early stages as a personal trainer, as a strength coach, and as well as a physical therapist. Towards the end, we talked about how he was able to land jobs in the MPBL, the NCAA, and finally the PBA. But at the very end of the episode, we did talk about his favorite exercises for his athletes, in not so favorite exercises for some of the athletes. And we also talked about the differences and the similarities between coaching general population clients and comparing it to coaching professional basketball athletes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe the video or leave a 5-star rating if you're listening to this on Spotify. Without any delay, let's go to the episode. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Foo Show. I am your host, Coach Ali Fusho. Today, I have a very special guest. He is a special guest because he is a coach that has been through almost everything. And I'm sure that he's going to say that he has a lot more to learn. But he and I are roughly the same age, but he's experienced a lot more. So that is exactly why I invited him here today in my gym so that we can have an honest conversation on his path, on his career, and what he wants to achieve more in the future. Today, I have Coach L.A. Rasho beside me. Oh, Coach, can you say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone.
Okay, thank you. So just to give a quick introduction to our relationship, me and Coach LA's relationship. We met, I would say, 20, oh, di ba 8? No, earlier, 2015 or 2016 yun.
2016 ata, 2016.
2016 because that's the first strongman competition. So we met in 2016. Roughly 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
We were in a strongman competition.
The first strongman competition. Tama ba? Is it
yeah,
the first?
I believe it was the first one. In UANP.
UANP, yes.
So that was way long ago. So we met there, and then I bumped into him in multiple different places.
Yeah, tapos lagi tayo, one way or another, we were meeting each other.
Yeah, so that's why when I was thinking about having another guest here to really share their knowledge, of course, and specifically for the SNC or the strength and conditioning field, Coach Ali was one of the first people, or the first person that I thought of that I can invite.
Actually, nagulat ako. Bakit ako yung, ako yung...
Of course, dude, kasi I know you.
Kasi coming from Raymond Debuque, tapos ako, parang ang taas ng standard na sinundan. So,
bro, you should give yourself more credit naman. Because here in the show, we're not gonna prioritize powerlifting. We're prioritizing Filipino fitness, strength, bodybuilding, fat loss, anything that revolves around your health and wellness. I guess that's the most generic or broad term here in the Philippines. That's what we want to talk about here, because I feel like there needs to be more conversation here in the Philippines for that. We need more people to talk about that. And I shouldn't be doing that on my own. That's why I had Raymond Debuque, one of the country's top powerlifters, both as a coach and as an athlete. And right now I have Coach LA, somebody who's definitely been through a lot, and you, the viewer, and me as well as the host can learn a lot when it comes to being a personal trainer, strength coach, and everything else that goes in between, in and out of that.
Yeah.
All right. So, Coach LA, the first thing that I want you to share with everyone is, of course, we have to start with your roots. Where did you graduate? What did you study? And what year was this, I guess, to date you, to tell everyone your age?
So, I finished college noong 2014. So, I graduated the Bachelor of Science in Physical Therapy sa UERM. So, I'm a product of UERM. Dun pa lang sa after college, I knew I wanted to be in the sports and performance industry, no? Well, siguro looking back, maalala ko nung bata ako. I think na-share ko rin to sa Instagram post ko previously na parang when I was a kid, my dad will always bring me to PBA games.
PBA
so
games,
PBA games, talagang I grew up in the PBA. I was a big fan, no? So I was watching yung mga old school teams, Red Bull Baracos. I was watching Talk and Text, Ginebra. I hated Ginebra. I hated San Miguel. I hated Pure Foods. But you can still hire me, ha? Nung bata lang ako.
You gotta pay up.
Anyway, so I grew up watching the PBA. So sabi ko, I wanted to be part of the league. So anyway, so after graduation, yun ang pinaka-ginol ko. So I wanted to be, after passing the board exams, I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach / or a physical therapist for a PBA team. So yun, doon siya nagsimula. Then, what happened was, actually, the funny story was, I was sending out cold emails to any PBA team. So if you have an opening for a physical therapist, I'm a fresh board passer. I'm willing to learn, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
If you could give me opportunity, even as even kahit internship or parang what do you call this?
Basta anything.
Anything, just to get my foot in the door.
How many cold emails did you send siguro? 20,
Siguro
30?
4.
Ah,
I think
okay,
4.
kala ko naman,
Oh,
okay.
hindi
4,
kasi
but yeah, that's a lot then, yeah.
ang PBA teams are 12 lang naman eh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Diba?
Makes sense.
So,
PBA.
I sent an email to Red Bull Barako, Air 21, Talk and Text. So the funny thing is, looking back after 2014, ano na ngayon, 2022, after 7 years, 8 years, sorry. After 8 years, Red Bull eventually became Phoenix Super Fuel Masters. And I'm part of the organization. So
There we go.
after 8 long years, hindi ako nireplyan sa email. Pero
As in zero replies.
no reply. So I was ignored. Sino tong who's this guy, diba?
Sino tong fresh grad tapos, diba?
Ano to? Feeling hero ba to na? Anyway, when I look back, sabi ko, lahat ng experiences ko throughout my professional career, it paved the way, it prepared me to the next level. Every time to the next level, to the next level. So you have to pay your dues. You have to do a lot of work. You have to improve yourself, invest in yourself. Then eventually, if all the cards aligned, if the stars align for you, it will happen. So yun.
Okay. Wow, okay. I didn't know that you sent cold emails.
Yeah, hindi ko pinansin, brother.
Well, it makes sense. Diba, looking back naman, like, sino naman mag-hire ng fresh grad ka agad-agad?
At
you
to
need
the
that hard
highest
work.
level of sports here in the
Here
Philippines.
in the Philippines,
Diba?
PBA na kaagad.
Oo.
Graduate, tapos biglang PBA na
Yeah,
kaagad
oo.
yung... Okay, I mean, wishful thinking. I mean, diba?
Yeah, sabi ko, when I was a kid, nung after graduation, sabi ko, sige, try lang. Wala
Diba?
namang mawawala eh.
Yeah.
But looking back, lahat ng experiences ko, lahat ng I've learned from different mentors, iba't ibang mga top coaches here in the Philippines. Eventually, lahat ng tutunan sa kanila, it paved the way.
Yeah. And I guess another thing about that is that if you were accepted to any PBA team back then, if you were to look back at yourself, knowing your skill set as a coach, you probably wouldn't be performing
Yes.
as well as you
Yeah.
initiate. They'd probably, why did we hire this kid?
Oh,
Diba?
yeah.
So exactly as you said it na, through the years, everything that's happened to you has prepared you to be able to perform at your current level now.
Oh.
So to everyone out there, to anyone who's an aspiring coach or starting out, or you've been at it for 1, 2, or 3 years, put the work in.
You have to put the work in.
And then that's when you feel like, okay, I can grow as a coach. Then, of course, you'll be able to provide more service or a higher quality service. That's what we want. And that's exactly what Coach Ellie went through. So that's nice to hear. I'm happy. Actually, we've known each other for like a good number of years already. But I'm happy that we're having this conversation to actually know each other more as well, because we've always talked but never to like what an hour's worth of
or on a
conversation.
deeper level, diba?
So it's nice to find it because we always just DM each other, like we always
nice.
playfully flirt with each other on Instagram. Well, I mean, if you're a male coach in the Philippines, or if you're a male coach, that's what you do to other male coaches. You flirt with them. You don't flirt with IG girls. You don't flirt with any of those bikini models. You flirt with other coaches that you respect.
Uy, lakas mo, bro.
Uy, ganda ng bench press mo, bro. That's how it is. All right. So, we talked on you being a fresh grad, your studies. I want to talk about something that we touched on a while ago. You us meeting in strongman and powerlifting, what made you start to really try to be in the competitive scene of both strongman and powerlifting? And of course, I'll say it for the both of us, we're not really, like the top tier
Yes, hindi.
lifters.
Yun yung unang sabihin.
Yeah, we're not the heavy lifters. We're just I think we can lift decent weight, but we're definitely not in the league of people like Raymond, that the guest that we had last time. But we love the sport.
Yeah,
We love the
oo.
sport. But what made you get into those sports? Despite you wanting to be in the PBA as a coach, what brought you
Yeah.
to those strength sports?
Well, I was surrounded by strength athletes, strength coaches. So I was part of Kinetics, Kinetics Lab, 'di ba? So ayun, then I am good friends with Nelson
Cheta.
Cheta. So
Yes.
I was heavily influenced by his methods with well, actually ang funny nun. Nakita ko siya before Kinetics, we used to work together pa rin. In functional fitness.
Yeah, podium.
In
Yeah.
podium. Then, lagi siya nagsasquat ng mabigat. So, anong ginagawa nito? Then, he brought me to the world of strength sports and powerlifting. So, doon nagsimula yun. Then, together, parehas kaming went to Kinetics Lab. Tapos, I met Marlon. I met the other guys. Tapos, doon nila ako na-influence about
Pursue the sport.
at first, lahat naman nagsisimula at training, 'di ba? Tapos, eventually, to pursue, try to compete.
Yeah.
Yan. So, yun naman talaga yung end goal, 'di ba? So, you train and you compete.
Yeah, it's nice to be in the gym, to train, to get stronger.
Yeah, oh.
But it's also nice to be on the platform, to be
Yeah,
on the
test
stage,
it out,
to
diba?
realize the
Oh,
strength that you've
oh.
been building for months or years.
Oh.
Okay, so it's good. I guess everyone who has experienced powerlifting, weightlifting, strongman competition, that's how it starts. You get in the gym, you realize, oh, I can get stronger.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah,
getting
oh,
stronger is kind
yeah.
of fun. Is there a way, or is there like a local competition or meet
Or
for me
regional
to,
na, ano.
like, is there a community that I can
Oh.
talk to? And that's how a lot of people get into powerlifting. That's how I started, like, being within the powerlifting community, because I just started to deadlift. Oh, cool, deadlifting's fun. Oh, that guy lifts heavier. Can I learn from this guy? Diba? It's like with Coach Nelson. He's stronger than the both of us. So it's nice to talk to him, get feedback on this and that. So yeah, it's nice that that's how the community is really formed there. You mentioned Kinetics Lab. Both of us worked for Kinetics Lab in the past. I remember back in 2019. At that time, he was still working there. I messaged Coach LA because I wanted to
Yeah, oh.
see how it is, the culture, to be able to. That's like my application. I DM'd the Coach LA to try to
Oo nga, no.
get in a good word from me. I'm not sure if you remember that. Then you passed on the word to Luis Arieta,
Yeah,
the sales head at that time. So I got the interview, got in. But when I got into Kinetics Lab at 2019,
That's when I left.
like a month or two before that,
Wala, and then weeks.
so not
Yeah.
even a month. So when he left, I got in. So we weren't able to bond as I initially thought that we
So,
would.
I think ganun tayo, no? Parang, lagi tayong one way or another, nag-miss out.
Yeah.
Parang, darating ka sa Kinetics. Ako naman, yun na yung, I'm on my way out to
Yeah.
pursue other things.
And Kinetics Lab, without any bias, so he and I worked for them. We know the owners, we know the people operating it.
Yeah.
So I will say first that without any bias, Kinetics Lab is definitely one of the best gyms here in the country right now. Of course, there are a lot of good gyms as well.
Yes. Oh.
But if you were to compare everything, definitely Kinetics Lab, both in facility and in admin, they
coaching,
definitely-
and management.
everything there is definitely top tier. Again, that is without bias. I'm not even sure if the owners will be watching this
nga,
episode.
di ba?
So we're being
Ewan ko, ikaw sponsored. Ako hindi. Ako masasabi ko, they're one of the best facilities out there.
That's true. And you don't know the new coaches right now because it's
Yeah,
been
oh.
years. I met them recently and they're pretty solid. Of course we're more veteran than them by a few years, but I
Yeah.
can see that all of them have a lot of potential and they're already good and they have more potential to grow. So that's how it was in Kinetics. But I wanted to ask, with you leaving Kinetics in 2019, was that the moment in time where you really decided, okay, I had fun here, I was able to pay my dues, Is it
Yes.
now time for me to move on to the competitive, to the PBA league or to more basketball specific work?
Uh, Ayun nga, actually nangyari noon with Kinetics, I was handling UP Women's Volleyball team
Okay,
and
UAP. Okay,
also
okay.
QC Capitals sa MPBL. So parang Kinetics was one of the sponsors of these teams. Tapos they were looking for a coach to handle them. So I volunteered. It was volunteer work.
Oh, volunteer work.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh.
okay, okay.
Well compensated pero maliit lang.
Okay.
So for me it was experience.
That's what you wanted. More than the financial
Yeah,
compensation. It was the
wala.
experience.
Oh, so experience. Then what happened was while I was handling the team and while I was employed with Kinetics, may nag may message sa akin randomly. Are you free for an interview tomorrow? Sabi ko,
Wow.
what team pa? Ay, ano to? Parang for what? I'm employed in. No, for a basketball team. So iniisip ko maybe another semi-pro team or another
Okay.
college team. Pero sinabi nila sa akin for the San Beda Red Lions.
Oh, okay.
So ako parang nanlaki kagad yung mata ko kasi San Beda Red Lions is one of the top teams
One of
in
the
the
teams.
NCAA. Oh,
Yeah,
one
to
of
that.
the big teams, no. So a lot of coaches would want to be part of the coaching staff. So biglang when will be the interview? Sabi nung nag-text sa akin for tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, like,
Oh.
so, wow, kagad-agad.
That was they messaged me around 8 p.m. So, what time do you want me there? Sabi nila, 7 a.m. Oh, fuck, kasi.
Did you have clients at that time scheduled?
Yeah, sabi ko, sorry. I
Sorry,
had
clients.
I had to move. Move, hindi cancel. So, yun. Interview. Okay, interview kung what's your experience, what's your expectations, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sige, can you start tomorrow? Wait. Go, huh?
Start? As in,
Yeah, can you start? So, we will get back to you.
wala pang
or-
papeles nun.
Wala. Start tomorrow. Huh? So, yun, doon nagsimula. So, I think maybe sometimes you just need to do the jump. Alam mo yun? You need to get out of your comfort zones to explore other things. So, I am very thankful with my experience with Kinetics. I learned a lot with Marlon, with Nelson, with Royan. So, with these guys. So, I think, I need to do stuff on my own naman, explore other things. So, yun. And I will be always, sinasabi ko naman sa kanila, I am grateful. I am always thankful sa lahat ng natutunan ko sa kanila. So, yun.
Okay. Because, of course, we can't really just, as coaches, we need other coaches to help
Yeah,
build
to
us
learn
up.
from.
Kasi hindi yung pwedeng ikaw nang bahala na whatever you say is 100%, right?
Yeah,
As a coach, like throughout the years, you are going to realize, oh, mali yung ginawa ko noon. Or then you see another coach's approach that, oh, wow, that does make more sense. And then that's how you learn and learn. So I'm happy that you have such a positive experience in Kinetics Lab. Similar to me, I wasn't able to last there long because of, unfortunately, it's not because of my own choice. It was the pandemic. I had to leave Kinetics Lab and then venture out on my own. His was because an opportunity came out. I was because of just logistical matters. But nonetheless, Kinetics Lab was really a great area for us or any coach actually to really grow. So after Kinetics, and of course, I guess this would be early on or mid 2020. I saw that you were posting a lot more about your own freelance work. I know you were you were definitely part of the basketball scene already, but I know there was some freelance work that you would do outside.
Yeah.
And your branding or your company for your personal training services is the Performance Russia.
Yeah.
PR. So that's very clever. PR, personal record. So can you tell me more about that, since I know that you set up your gym at your garage?
Yeah.
So can you walk the process? How did that start? And how
Basically, with pandemic, kasi di ba parang it's uncharted territory for all of us eh. Parang very unfamiliar yung nangyayari.
super unfamiliar.
Di ba? What's gonna happen to my career? I'm not handling any clients. Anong future, di ba? So, parang it was a time for me to parang ang tingin ko sa nangyari sa atin nung lockdown, nung first lockdown, it's more of binigyan tayo ng time na mag-pause kasi well, I guess probably ganun ka rin with your
Yes.
freelance work, always handling clients. Sometimes you don't have time with other relationships na mas madalas ka pang makikipag-usap sa clients mo
Kliyente
than
mo.
your
Family,
family, your partners. So, I think yun yung naging positive note with what happened sa nung first lockdown. So,
True.
I was given the time to reflect, to look back, no, what is my why. So, ano ba yung bakit ba ako nandito in the first place? No, ano ba yung ginagawa ko? Bakit ako nagtitrain ng tao?
Yeah.
So, yun. So, doon nagsimula yun. Then, eventually, our garage became a gym. It started with a pull-up bar. Tapos, nagkaroon ng rack. Na-upgrade yung rack. And, nagkaroon ng jammer arms. Tuloy-tuloy na yun. So hindi siya tumitigil.
Humble pull-up bar to now a full-on setup na yun.
It started with a pull-up bar, set of dumbbells. Wala pa akong maayos na bench. I had space. Yun lang.
Space.
Couple of mats.
Well, I mean, that's all you need. I mean, you can get a lot done with some dumbbells and body weight work.
Pero eventually, you will want more.
Yeah, that's the curse. Like, our home gym is never complete. It's never finished. There's always that
never
one more.
finish. One more.
We have this term. We have this in Filipino. We have one more budol.
Yeah,
that's gonna come up. You're just gonna keep on buying until your home gym looks like a commercial gym.
Yeah.
Already. So it's part of the culture. So until now, with your gym that is now leveled up, you still have some clients there that go to you?
Yeah, pero there's also some clients na would want me to go to their houses kasi meron din silang sariling home gym.
Okay,
I think that's
course.
one of the benefit of ayun yung mga nangyari nung pandemic. A lot of people invested with their home gym setup. So ayun. So nothing beats yung face-to-face coaching, face-to-face. It's hard to compete with that.
So I mean, for both of us, we have coached people online.
Yeah, so
it works. I mean, you get the job done.
Yeah,
that's way better. Like, if any client were to ask, like, is it better to have an online coach? I mean, yeah, compared to nothing, it's always better to have an online coach. But if you were to compare that, an online coaching scenario, online training scenario versus face-to-face, hands down, in every metric, you'll be able to progress much better if you were to have your coach in person, because your coach will be able to spot everything real time. And I guess the relationship, the friendship that will happen, the bonding.
Yung 3D yung
Yeah, laking bagay nun. And of course, I mean, sure, I guess the only negative thing about in-person training or face-to-face is that sometimes there might be some scheduling conflicts.
Logistics with traffic and all.
Yeah, especially traffic right now. But aside from that, aside from the logistical matter, face-to-face training or in-person training is always going to be the better one. And in terms of our enjoyment as well, coming from the service side of that coaching relationship, we do enjoy it much more rather than staring at our laptops looking at videos,
or screens or the video,
spreadsheets. I mean, of course, normally people say, we don't have a desk job. If you're an online coach, you basically have a desk job because you're looking at spreadsheets the entire day, looking at videos, looking at analytics, something like that. So that's something that we are thankful that we're slowly shifting towards more and more in person, since hopefully we are in the tail end of this pandemic. So we are going to, even though cases are kind of going up, the fact that or majority of people are vaccinated, it's making things a little more hopeful, or like we can see the light towards the end of the tunnel. All right, so that's how you were when it comes to your own personal training business, the Performance Ratio. Now I want to talk about basketball more. I am not a basketball coach, nor am I a basketball athlete. Asa pa that I'll be a basketball athlete. So I do want to talk to you, basically like talk shop about the differences of personal training group class. You did some group classes for us
Of
in the
course,
past.
oh.
So personal training in a commercial gym setting, personal training in a home setting, group classes, online classes. What would you say? I know this is gonna be relatively vague, but what would you say is the biggest difference when it comes to training a Gen Pop client versus a professional athlete?
Mm, siguro for me, the biggest difference would be when you train athletes, parang it's more of malaki yung nakasalalay sa'yo. Malaki yung at stake.
Oh yeah, actually that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
So, for example, an athlete will come to you na, Coach, I'm in pain, but I need to play by next week. So, what can I do? So, I have problems with yan. Kasi, when you look at it, this is their livelihood.
Literally
Oh,
their livelihood.
This
Yeah.
is the way they, ito yung pinagkakakitaan nila. So, if they don't perform well, they will not be able to get that next contract. And
And the
what will be
contract means
left,
everything to them.
yes, and what will be left to feed their families. So, ang dating sa akin is, I need to prepare this guy. I need to optimize his performance so that he will be able to perform his job safely and
Safely.
to optimize his performance kung if he wanted to jump higher, to run faster, whatever. So, yun. So, mas malaki yung at stake eh.
There's more at stake,
Oh.
yeah. So like the pressure on your end to
Yeah,
make sure
oh.
that you're delivering, that your service that you're providing is really going to automatically.
That will, kailangan mag-fit sa kanya. Oh.
There's more time pressure, no? Because
Yes,
of course,
oo.
it's not like, one of our athletes is injured. Can we postpone the game?
Yeah,
They're not.
no,
I
no.
mean, the league. They're not gonna adjust to you. You have to adjust to the
Oo.
league.
Saka sobrang, the league is unforgiving. It's very unforgiving. There's always be the next guy who wanted to take your spot. So every year, there's a draft. And
That's true.
there will always be a new guy who wanted to take your job. So, ganun yun eh. Ganun yung mentality. So, the pressure. That comes also with coaches, ah.
Yeah,
There are a
both
lot of
athletes and coaches,
Yeah, coaches would want to take yung kung ano yung nasan ako ngayon. Diba? So, ayun lang. So, kailangan day in, day out, you need to give it your best. No?
You need to
So,
show up and you
oh.
need to like really show that you are worth the spot or worth the
You
position,
need to always prove yourself out there.
both as a
So,
coach and an athlete.
But, ano yung tanong mo? Kung tinanong mo sa akin kung ano yung what's the difference between the two?
Oh yeah.
Ako, ano ko naman yung similarities between the two.
Yeah, that was the next question actually.
Actually,
Okay, go.
The similarity between the two is you're still handling people. Tao pa rin.
That's true.
So, at the end of the day, it matters how you communicate, how you relate, how you show that you care. At the end of the day, it's not how much you know, it's how much you care.
Yeah,
Diba?
and that's gonna easily be translated. Like when you're having that constant communication, constant conversations with your client or with your athlete,
oo.
they'll know kung may pake ka ba
No,
or
diba?
diba?
Or are you just there to get your paycheck, or are you there to really help them out, diba?
Yeah.
So yun
It's
yun.
so obvious. Like people, I mean, you can try to be as plastic as you want, but
Oo.
most people aren't stupid. They'll pick up on it
Oo.
quite away. So I mean, for both of us, I would want to think like that you as well. We have some passion, or you have a good amount of passion in this profession that we are in. Obviously, there are some times that the passion or motivation isn't that strong, but we have to remind ourselves that this is what we set ourselves out. This is the path that we want. And we have to constantly remind ourselves and our whys, as he mentioned a while ago, we're here to make sure that that athlete, to make sure that that client gets the goals, that achieves the goals that they set out. Because that's your job. Like, I mean, sure, people do look up to some coaches, but at the end of the day, we are in the service industry. We are going to provide our service to make sure that you achieve this, achieve that. So I'm happy that you mentioned that they are people as well. Because some people, I mean, I guess case to case, there are some Gen Pop clients and there are some professional athletes that are diehard people in the gym. And then there's some people that want to avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah,
So that's another similarity.
Yeah, so same.
Okay. So, but when it comes to, I guess, because this is what I've heard. Obviously, I'm not coach of professional athletes. How do they really feel about, or in your experience, how do they feel about the weight room? Because I've heard some athletes or majority of them just want to keep on going back to the court and not really prioritize the weight room. Is that true, or has that been changing already?
Well, I started training athletes kahit noong 2014. So, masasabi ko ngayon with social media, with what yung mga dating collegiate players na professional athletes na ngayon, with what they see in what the NBA guys are doing. So, I think mas nag-shift na ngayon. So, a lot of PBA players now are more investing with their physical preparation, with weights, with rehab, with recovery. Mas ano nila yun. Kasi, I think ngayon yung mentality ng player is, how can I prolong my career?
Longevity. Oh my God.
That's the biggest thing. Kasi, how can I keep playing as much as I can? Diba?
At the high, like to maintain a high level for the longest that you can.
So, yun. So, a lot of guys now are investing with, with this stuff. With
Coaches,
SNC,
therapists.
with therapists, with recovery tools, iba't iba eh. So, yun. So, I think nag-shift na ngayon. So, I think that's a good thing, di ba?
That's definitely a good thing. So, I mean, of course, social media has been, it has its up and down. Sometimes it doesn't provide the best source of information, but there are times like these that it's definitely turned the tides for the better, making more people realize the value in personal training, the value in our recovery, because you mentioned like prolonging the career, in other words, longevity. Injury prevention is so crucial. I've heard it time and time again. A lot of people, I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I've heard that a lot of NBA players, their young promising careers are abruptly ended because knee injury, ankle injury, whatever injury. And I guess it's your job, and precisely as you said a while ago, there's a lot at stake. There's more pressure on your end to make sure that they are as healthy and as high performing as possible. Oh, wow.
For example na lang ito.
Go.
The best basketball player in the world right now, LeBron James.
Okay.
He's
Wow, some people might get mad, but okay, I agree.
Right now. Well, he's 37. No?
That's crazy.
That's 37, performing at the biggest stage, still at his parang, you can say still his prime, diba?
Yeah.
Pero, how can he maintain this, his physical shape is investment niya sa katawan niya, diba? So, there are write-ups na he's spending around $2 million per year for rehab, for conditioning, for nutrition.
Yeah.
So, that speaks for itself.
That speaks for itself. So, to anyone who's like an aspiring athlete, of course, if you follow the basketball, you know LeBron James, and if you heard it from Coach LA that the guy at the top of the performance level in basketball is investing a lot in recovery, in all of those things, it is definitely worth a shot. Or it's worth more than anything to make sure that your physical therapy, your recovery methods, everything is in check. So, wow, okay. I'm happy that you mentioned the longevity thing, because that's something that Raymond, the guest that we had last time, he mentioned. He talked about it in length to talk about longevity, because he's a lifter that's been at it for 20 years. And he's still lifting. Obviously, he has some injuries here and there, but he's still going. It's definitely an amazing thing to witness any athlete to be in the sport for 20 years already on its own. So longevity is really, really important. Now, so we talked about that. I want to talk about, because this is something I'm not familiar with, and I'm assuming not a lot of people are, what are your priorities, or what are, I would say, how is it like in the weight room when your team is in season or off season? How different is it, or is there any difference at all when it comes to in-season training and off-season training?
Well, with our basketball team, during off-season, our goal is mostly to lay the foundations. So, to build strength. So, dyan namin ginagawa yun. So, by the in-season, dyan na namin nire-reap yung lahat ng benefits. Lahat ng ginawa namin nung off-season, doon na nagre-reflect, doon na siya doon mo na nare-realize lahat yan. So, ngayon, sa in-season, currently sa PBA, naka-in-season kami. Our goal is mostly to keep the guys safe. No? So, we have a term with Phoenix sa team namin. We have a term na parang treat the wounded day. Treat the wounded. So, basically, today, the goal is to manage the injuries. Kung ano yung problema mo, kung ano yung nararamdaman mo, this is the time wherein we work on it. We do a lot of rehab stuff.
Yeah.
Yun. And, yun, yun yung pinaka-pinagkaiba niya. Well, dito naman kasi, sa pros, may iba kasi kapag off-season na, nawawala na lang eh.
As in, they don't show up na?
They don't show up on the way through.
Wow, I thought, okay.
So, it depends eh. Pero there are some guys na invested. They show up, they work with their stuff. You lay out the fundamentals, you lay out your foundations. So, yun.
Okay. So, that's nice for me to know because that's something that I'm not familiar with at all.
Pero pinaka-crucial dito, Ali, is yung yung in-season. So, yun nga
because
kasi.
Like precisely.
You have to, parang you have to prepare these guys. So, no matter what, kahit sabi mong hindi naman kasi pumunta nung off-season yan, that's not an excuse, diba? So, I heard this from Jody.
Okay, Joe DeFranco.
The OG. No? So, sabi niya, the best ability is availability.
Oh, that's so true. That's so good. I follow Joe DeFranco, but it's my first time.
Lagi sinasabi yun, the best ability, di ko malimutan, the best ability is availability. So, no matter how much the guy benched, the guy, how far he jumps, how high he jumps, if he's not able to play, wala din, di ba?
Yeah.
So, yun.
Wow, that makes so much sense because no matter, as you said, no matter kung ano yung performance mo sa weight room, bali wala kung wala ka sa court
if you're always injured, di ba? Yun.
That's so true. Well, actually, that's everything that I wanted to learn from you for when it comes to your background, your career path, where you are right now, your opinion, or like how you coach everything or how you structure things. But before I let you go, there are some things that I do want to ask. These are basically semi-rapid fire questions. When I say semi, it's not because rapid fire, then you have to give an answer right away. Once you give your answer, you can explain it from 20, or actually you can give a minute to explain your answer so that the people at home can take it and absorb it for what it is. All right, so last time I asked Raymond some, I would say, rapid fire questions for powerlifting. I want to ask you relatively the same questions, but in the case for basketball. Obviously, there are a lot of nuances, but that's why he's going to explain. He's going to take the time to explain his answers. So, what would you say is the best hinge movement for a basketball player? Napaisip siya.
Biglaan Single leg RDL.
Single leg RDL, dumbbell, barbell, or any.
If kung ano available.
Okay.
Pero with our athletes, what we usually prescribe is the single leg RDL Smith machine. I'm sorry, ito yung a lot of the Smith machine haters, pero I'm starting to love this machine.
Actually, same. Early on our coaching career, so we're basically the same.
Yeah. We
would hate on the Smith machine because
especially the Smith machine. There's something about this machine na parang you really want to hate it. Alam mo yun? Pero
no, because especially from a couple of guys who were into powerlifting before, you'd want as much as possible make it the real barbell bench press, the barbell squat. So anyone who does the Smith machine variation is a wuss. Diba? Like yan yung mindset dati. But if done properly, if done with proper intent and you know what you want to get out of it, the Smith machine is a very good alternative. It's a really good movement.
Controversial yung sagot ko na yun. Feeling ko marami kang magiging haters dito sa.
Wait, but okay. So you didn't say it precisely why, but I'm assuming that you love the Smith machine's single leg RDL with the Smith machine because your players are, I guess, one reason would be is that they're taller, so it might be
It's
they're
harder to stabilize.
it's harder to stabilize because they have
Yeah.
longer
Number one.
legs. And another thing is it's the one that's going to ensure that their technique is the most consistent
Exactly.
all throughout. Because if you do
Yes.
that with a dumbbell, kettlebell, anything free weight, barbell, sure, if they do it right, congrats, good job. But there's a high probability that you might not be able to do every single rep well. If you do 10 reps, probably 6 out or 7 only will be, good. Then the others might be a bit too sloppy. And in the professional level, you don't want anything to be sloppy because that's when they might get injured and that's when LA might lose his job. Diba?
And also, medyo foolproof eh. Medyo foolproof yung machine eh. You demo. Although, syempre, there's some technique use here and there.
You still have to think somewhat. Yeah.
Pero, you get the most out of it the quickest time possible. So, yun naman
Yes,
importante. Diba? Makuha mo yung physiologic response.
Yung stimulus na gusto
Yung
mo.
stimulus na gusto mo, the shortest time. So, that's what we use. And, share ko lang, we found that when we prescribe this exercise, you help a lot of guys with ankle problems. So,
true.
it's a good proprioception work for your ankles. For guys who have problems with their knee, I think they're also benefiting from this exercise with hip problem, with lower back problems. I can go on and on with the benefits of this exercise. Pero nagiging staple siya sa programming namin
For the team,
for the team.
Okay.
So yun. But syempre, if you don't have a Smith machine, not end of the world, you can do a lot of variations. Pero yun.
So that's his answer. Oh, on that note, actually, so this question I wanted to ask. It's not part of the questions, but I thought of it. Since you train people who play basketball, they wear basketball shoes in the game. What do you make them wear in the gym?
Socks.
Socks na lang. Okay. Very good. Because that's the question that people ask a lot. Yeah.
Pero kasi, well, they wear their basketball shoes. Pero ngayon kasi iba-iba na yung materials ng mga bagong basketball shoes ngayon. Some are low to the ground, some have really thick cushion material, whatever. Pero sometimes kapag coach parang wala akong balance, parang wobbly, so try removing
mo na
them.
lang.
Some even go barefoot. So, ayun.
Barefoot is me and my clients love training in barefoot. You just feel the ground more. You feel
you can grip it
more rooted.
push it more.
Yeah, exactly. Because of course your foundation or your setup is everything. If you have a proper setup, you'll be able to perform effectively. All right, next. For in the case of basketball, what is your favorite upper body push movement?
Landmine overhead press. Kaya controversial na naman.
Landmine. Of course, this is single arm or
one single arm, one arm landmine overhead press.
Why?
A lot of basketball players, well, they're matatangkad sila.
Yeah.
So they're suffering from poor posture. So we call this the upper cross syndrome.
Yeah.
So they spend a lot of time in a
Crouch position.
crouch position. So not all of them, I'm not saying all of them, not all of them are very proficient with the one arm dumbbell press, no? So we shift it a little so para safer for their shoulders, and you get the stimulus of upper body push without compromising the risk of injuring their shoulders.
Okay.
No? So with basketball kasi, very important din yung shoulder health. So,
if anyone doesn't agree with that, ewan ko na.
diba? Very important kasi you take a shot, you do a lot of overhead movements in the sport. So, you need to take care of that. So, I have a lot of athletes na nakaka-problem with impingement, with
yes, that's a killer.
Diba? Dahil problems with their shoulders. So, yun, yung isa sa mga pinaka-investment ko is one arm, what do you call this? One arm landmine. Ang haba kasi, arm landmine, OHP.
OHP.
So, yan.
Okay, that's a very good movement. Another, to share my take on it, the reason why I love the landmine, like landmine press or whatever name you want to call it, is because the nature of the landmine, it's like the good in between of free weight and machine.
Yes.
Because one end of the landmine is against the wall or it's clamped towards the rack, but the other end is still going to move freely as a lever. It's basically a 45-pound lever right? So there has to be some control from the athlete's work or as they're working on that movement, but at the same time, not a crazy amount of control as compared to a dumbbell overhead press that can go in any direction. So it's a good in between. So I guess I understand why
Pero
you like it.
babawi lang ako if the athlete can perform a barbell overhead press, why not?
Okay, why not? Yeah.
Pero
If you were to
it's
just
not,
pick one lang.
yeah. pero what do you call this? It's hard to force feed someone to a specific drill
Mold.
if it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
it's not for them, di ba? If they're not built that way. So it will take so much time of teaching how to retract your scaps, whatever,
Tagal nun.
giving this cue. Pero you have this amount of time to work with them. Tapos you're just teaching technique. So parang,
Yeah.
yun.
Yeah, I completely understand that. So for the upper body push, he picked so daming pangalan eh. The single arm landmine press. So that's how I call it. Yun na lang. All right. So favorite squat movement for basketball players? Squat or lunge? If you were to just pick one.
Okay ba yun squat or lunge? Siguro sa lunge, RFESS, Bulgarian
Rear foot
split.
elevated. Just squat.
Ibahin ko yun And for the squat, sa bilateral leg exercise, na squat pattern, I would choose the heel elevated barbell box squat.
Heel elevated barbell box squat.
Yeah.
Okay, sige. Just to make it more juicy or whatever, if you were to pick between the heel elevated barbell box squat or the Bulgarian split squat, what would you think would grant the athlete more benefit?
RFESS.
Because of the unilateral factor about
Yes.
it. Okay. So unilateral, to those who don't know, basically means
One leg.
one side or one leg. And of course, bilateral is when you're using both sides of your body, and that's what the box squat is. So how do you normally do? How do you set up your Bulgarian split squat? Do your athletes on a barbell or on a bench or there's a specific pad? How do you set it up? Kung ano meron.
A hamstring curl na may ganito na pad.
Yes.
So nagiging na rin siya, parang dyan yung foot placement ng rear foot sa RFESS. Pero so, ako na yung available. I've done yung barbell, tapos lalagyan mo ng pad sa gitna.
Yung parang yung hip thrust pad, something like that.
But I found some clients or athletes are not comfortable with it. So,
Whatever's available.
Sometimes kasi kung saan mas comfortable yung individual. So, dun.
Okay. Next is what you would say the best core movement for a basketball player? Again, I know there are so many, but if you were to just pick one, what is the best core movement, core exercise that you make your athletes do?
Any anti-rotation movement.
Oh, that's exactly the same as what Raymond said. Yeah.
Talaga, hindi ba sinabi niya?
Anti-rotation, yeah.
Parang something that will train, narinig ko lang, di ba? Something that will train your obliques. So, any anti-rotation movement. Kasi,
Okay.
we've been always trained to do a lot of anti-flexion and anti-extension movements.
Yep.
I am guilty with this. I neglect my anti-rotation exercises. So, you're training your obliques and your, So, yun, for basketball players.
So, like anti-rotation, but which movement mismo? Would it be the Palloff? Would it be
The Palloff. I love the Palloff.
banded or cable? Whatever's available. But you prefer banded?
Yeah. Kasi constant tension.
And I guess setup is easier. You don't really have to like tug the weight a
And
lot.
also, during games, I always do this. It's a pre-game exercise for me.
Oh yeah, and it's easy to bring. You don't bring a machine to the game.
Diba? So, kahit di mo siya masa-set up sa any pole or something, just hold it.
Okay.
Yan,
Makes so much sense. All right, so we talked about best exercises. And I know this might be a bit hard, but since there are a lot of videos of basketball training online already, what would you say, or I would want you to name 3 exercises that are overrated for basketball training?
Oh, shit.
Like, again, just 3 overrated exercises that you see on Instagram or whatever social media platform that you see more and more players are doing, but you feel like they're overrated or they're not worth the hype.
Number 1 would be... Hard question to Number 1 would be the The agility ladder. I'm sorry.
Any drill in the agility ladder.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Another good drill for coordination, for foot placement, pero for
Professional level, parang di ba?
well, okay lang din naman if actually I use it. For example, I have a guy
He
returning.
uses it pala, no?
Oh, hindi. Ito yun. I use it when there's a guy coming off an ankle injury and I want him to relearn how to put load on his ankles, how to accept force and reproduce it. So, I use the ladders. But if you're talking about agility work,
Yeah.
kasi with agility, it's, what do you call this? It's something, you need to have a stimulus. So, it's reacting to a stimulus, change of direction. Plus,
That's what agility
yeah,
literally
diba?
means. Yeah.
So, if it's predetermined na movements, yun, di siya, And number two,
Number 2.
is yung mga agility work with the cones, run here, run there.
Yung mag-zigzag training.
Zigzag, whatever. Because it's predetermined.
Predetermined as well. Okay.
So,
Number 3.
it's good if you're training youth athletes.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think the agility ladder and cones, they're good for youth because it involves some more play.
Yes,
and
yes,
it's
exactly.
coordinated play. And if you're going to talk about kids, you don't necessarily need to be, your approach doesn't have to be the most scientific or methodical way. You just want them to have fun. And I think kids have fun with the cones and the ladder as well.
Yun.
Number 3,
So,
kung meron man.
number 3.
You see like online, you see time and time again. And I know every movement has its merit, but
Yeah.
what's overrated in your opinion? The third one. If there's none, it's fine. It's
Actually,
fine.
wala na akong, teka lang, give me a minute. Teka lang, iniisip ko yung mga nakikita ko sa social media. Kasi sometimes when I look at exercises sa Instagram or sa Facebook yung pinupost, mas critical na yung ko hindi ko na
that's
siya, hindi pa gumagana yan eh. Ngayon, it's more of, maybe his training
siguro may ganito. Okay.
So you need to,
You don't want to judge right away.
Oh,
no?
diba? I don't judge right away. So ngayon, it's more of, he needs some... sorry. Ang iniisip ko na tuloy.
Ano?
Yung reactive lights.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
I'm not a big fan. Siguro, yung, react color, whatever. It's good.
Have you were you able to use that here in the Philippines na or hindi
Meron
pa?
na din, pero I'm not a big fan.
Okay. You'd rather they
Siguro
actually catch a ball
I'll give
mismo.
it a chance. No, pero with yun nga again, babalik tayo. The best way to train agility, reaction time, whatnot, small-sided games. So doon mo mas mabibuild yung reaction ng
That's so true, yeah.
athlete, no? So you break down the sport. For example, 5-on-5 sport, you do a specific drill muna. So doon yung a specific basketball drill. For example, you do one-on-ones, muna, off dribble, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So doon matitrain yung agility niya, react to, ganyan.
So you lean towards more for drills, for other movements.
Small-sided breakdown
Specificity drills, basically.
movements.
Something that's not gonna go away anytime soon. Anything that's more specific to the sport that you want to improve on, that's really gonna be the best way to get better.
Sabi ko
at that
sa'yo,
sport.
may isip ako eh. Pero ako giving it, malay
Give it a
natin,
chance.
there's a study after 2 years from now na ladders are the best way to train.
Does this clip wouldn't age well?
Pero
You never know, yeah,
it just
sometimes.
shows na parang fitness is always evolving, training is always
That's
evolving.
so true. Yeah.
Methods natin, I can say my methods, ilang years na ba? 8 years ago, nagbago after 2 years, nagbago na naman yung methods ko. But the thing is, ang takeaway doon, kailangan natututo ka, you're always adapting. Yun.
Okay, just to make sure that you have an open mind and not be married to a specific methodology,
system, whatever.
approach. You have to make sure, okay, so this works better for this client. And I guess it works different depending on your client, depending on your athlete. This method might work better, or this person might just enjoy it more.
Yeah,
So it might not be the quote-unquote smartest approach, But if they enjoy it more, hence more consistency on their end, that as a coach, that would be the smarter option to go for whatever option you feel like will bring out the best from your client, right? That's so true. And the very last thing, this is we've talked about training. This time, let's talk about nutrition. And this is gonna be, I'm not so sure how it is for basketball, but what would you say if you were to recommend just one supplement to your athlete? Again, just one. Supplements have, their cases here and there. But if you were to recommend one supplement to your entire team, like if they were to only take one supplement for the rest of their career, what would it be?
Pwede ko i-cheat yan. May top 1, top 2. Sorry.
Say your top 2. You're the second top muna.
Recently lang nung na-involve ako sa Phoenix, na-expose ako or nag-experience ako using this supplement, Vitargo.
Vitargo? Sorry,
it's a carb drink. So basically, it's a carb. Powerlifters tayo. Hindi natin masyadong medyo novel sa ating bago. Pero Vitargo, it's a carb drink.
Wait, so Vitargo is the brand?
Yes,
okay.
It's a carb drink. So we give this to our players during game. So, yun, syempre small...
kaya pala you said that sponsored pala eh.
Hindi. Nagbabayad kami. Okay, Vitargo, baka naman.
Pa-sponsor naman, Vitargo.
So anyway, so basically, nung una rin, nung nakikita ko na siya before, parang it's a difference.
But not worth it, no?
Pero, nung na-experience ko na, nung nakita ko yung effects niya sa players namin, I had this one player na it was his first time to take Vitargo. Tapos, at first, he was very apprehensive with it. Parang, okay ba yan? Baka magka-problem ako with, digestion or whatever. Or magka-stomach upset. So, pero, it worked wonders for him. So, every time, parang hindi siya napapagod. So, throughout the game, binibigay, piniprescribe na, pinapainom na.
This is a small bottle or it's like, 300 ml?
I forgot the exact dose. No. So, it's like, parang you have a tumbler, tapos you scoop 2 scoops of it.
Tapos, it's powder.
Tapos maging parang Gatorade siya intra-workout. No?
Okay.
Ayun.
Where do you buy this? Mercury? Or...
I don't know.
Your team
you order ata. Makita mo, hindi ko pa ganun kaalam.
Yeah, search it na lang online.
I tried it. I tasted it one time. Masarap siya.
Okay.
Hindi siya tulad ng ibang...
But did you feel anything? Or wala naman?
Well,
you weren't performing. Okay.
So,
that's true.
I just randomly... masarap pa. So, di naman ako nagkaroon ng stomach upset. So, wala naman, no harm done.
So, if Vitargo is your number 2, what's your number 1 recommendation? Creatine. Can you explain to everyone why?
Proven and tested. I have a lot of, ever since my college stint, no, I have a lot of athletes who use creatine and talagang makikita mo yung pag-enhance ng performance nila. So, and it worked wonders talaga. Capacity, yung training capacity nagbago, their performance on the court nagbago. So, yun.
Yeah. And actually, if that's exactly what Raymond said as well. So, I'm happy to hear that a coach, a powerlifting coach, a basketball's S&C coach, and when asked the question of what their number 1 recommended supplement would be, it is creatine. A lot of people might think kasi whey protein. Some people might think, hopefully they don't think something like BCAAs or something like that. But creatine, tried and tested, I recommend that to a lot. And on top of that, on top of all the benefits, it's relatively affordable. Exactly.
Diba? Kasi parang, you can get away of not taking whey if you're having a good, diba? If you're taking a good balanced diet. Pero creatine, ang hirap talaga makuha sa food. Diba? Sa food.
Yeah.
So, yun.
Okay. Wow. So, thank you. This has been roughly an hour almost. Let me check it out. This has been 58 minutes. So, basically an hour
pasok.
Of us talking. I've learned so much about him. And I've learned so much about the sport. And just, I'm hoping, and I'm not hoping, I'm 100% sure that what we talked about today in this episode is definitely going to help any aspiring coach or even veteran coaches. I mean, as he mentioned, that to be a good coach, quote unquote, good coach, you have to be open-minded. So we've been at it for 7 or 8 years. Obviously, we're not at the top of our game.
Yes,
we do believe that we have much more to learn, much more to improve upon. But with the experience that we've had, we're sure that it is going to be valuable to anyone starting out. So on that note, thank you, Coach LA, for being my second guest here at the Foo Show. It's definitely much appreciated by me and everyone watching. All right, see you guys. Oh wait, do you have anything, any last words? Shout
Well,
out
ang
ba?
pinaka ano lang, ang pinaka mantra ko lang now lately, it's more of paying it forward, no? So lahat ng I don't want to say success or lahat ng nangyayari with our careers, no, with my career. I think a lot of people helped me, gave me the opportunity.
That's so true.
Sa akin, every time young coach, parang a fresh grad who wanted to learn, sobrang willing ako dyan, sobrang ano ako dyan, accommodating ako sa ganyan. Kasi I will always remember that I was once that kid who wanted to be a coach.
Yeah.
So, ayun. So, I was always, yun ang pinaka-mantra ko, yun, to always pay it forward.
That's
the next
true.
guys.
That's true. Okay, so
Ayun.
pay it forward, guys. Whatever happens in life, I mean, you are the person you are today because of the people surrounding you, and you have to remember that. Just be very thankful of everything. And at the end of the day, we have so much more to grow on. We're happy with where we are right now, but we're more excited for what's to come in the future. All right, so thank you for joining us once again here at episode 4 of the Foo Show. See you guys next week.